Several months ago, I tried making a farm for glow ink on this SMP, but I just couldn't get it to work. Recently, though, I figured out a trick that will make a glow squid farm foolproof. Now, glow squid spawn in water, underground, below Y30 in total darkness. The farm I attempted before wasn't generating any glow squid, either because there's some bug in Bedrock Edition where they don't spawn below Y0, or more likely just because there were flooded caves in the area and I didn't realize that. But I recently learned that in Bedrock Edition, glow squid will spawn in any biome, with the possible exception of mangrove swamps. And when I say any biome, I mean including in the end dimension. If you make a glow squid farm in the end, there's no water there except the water you place for the farm. There's no other passive mobs or fish outside the farm to take up the mob cap. It's the perfect location. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure this doesn't work in Java Edition. So this isn't just my personal solo world, this is Divergence SMP, so there's a lot of other people here. And as you can see, they've flooded a large portion of the area around that central fountain. So I want to build the farm some distance away from this. Otherwise, I probably would place it right at 0, 0, but because that's there, I'm going to platform out a ways from there to build the farm. Okay, so I think I'm going to platform out to the coordinates 160, 0. Here's all the material I think I'm going to need. Inevitably, I'll end up, like, needing more stuff than I realize, but I think this is what I'm going to need. 2 shulker boxes full of glass. Ignore that. A shulker box full of ice. 20 stacks of magma blocks. 2 stacks of powered rail. About 108 levers. Plus, I think I need something in the neighborhood of 16 stacks of regular rail. And I'm bringing at least 9 stacks of leaf blocks and 9 stacks of log blocks, which I'll convert into planks and slabs. I want to platform out to 160, 0. But I also want to be at Y coordinate of 5, so like 165, 0. That'll be far enough away from that flooded area over there, and low enough in the world for glow squid to spawn. That's where the bottom of the farm will be. The total height of the farm will be 12 blocks or less. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Someone, and I think that someone is here now, has made a ender over here. And that's right in the vicinity of where I was planning to make the farm. Let me think about this for a minute. So Endermen aren't going to interfere with anything. You know what? No. I'm going to pick another spot. I don't think I want to be around that farm. I don't want to be anywhere near it. Let's instead go to 0, 160. I think that's better. I think the easiest way for me to get to Y5? Okay, well, not the easiest way, but a way for me to get to Y5 is to go into one of the obsidian pillars and just dig down. Because these pillars should go all the way down to Y0. Oh, okay. For some reason, that made me really nervous, digging down that far. But yeah. Platform out to 0, 160. Like I said, I could have done this at 0, 0, if not for the fact that the area around that fountain is flooded, and I could get glow squid spawning there, so I want to be far enough away from that. I'm choosing 0, 160 because I'm going to make a split density farm, and I need to line up 4 chunks side by side. So I gotta map out 4 chunks exactly. If I go to 0, 160, those are coordinates divisible by 16, and I can use map to find the chunk borders. So 159, 0, 160. Okay. So, since that's coordinates that are divisible by 16, I know that this is the northwest corner of a chunk. So I go 15 more blocks. I build out 15 more blocks to the east. That's not east. to the east. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 15 east. Then 15 south. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. And now those are two sides of a 16 by 16 chunk. Fill in the square, and I have a 16 by 16 chunk. Now, the reason I am doing this is to make a split density farm, which could be considered to be massive overkill. Absolutely. This may very well be massive overkill. But the glow squid farm is really very simple, and I think I can spend the time to make it a split density farm. It's modeled after the design I used for the squid farm a few months ago, where I talked about how split density works, but I'll mention it again in case you didn't see that video. Bedrock Edition and Java Edition both have mob caps, limits on how many mobs there can be in the world, and if you get to that limit, more mobs won't spawn. But the way it's computed between Bedrock and Java is pretty different. This is Bedrock Edition, and in Bedrock Edition, when a mob spawning attempt is made, the game picks coordinates for the mob to spawn, and then it checks within 4 chunks of that location for how many mobs there are in that range. If there are already too many mobs in that area, it won't spawn more. But the emphasis there is it checks within 4 chunks of where the spawn attempt is being made, where the mob is going to appear, not within 4 chunks of the player. So I can make a spawning area for a glow squid to the east of where I'm AFK, and another spawn area for glow squid that's exactly 4 chunks away to the west. So you got one spawning area in the east and one exactly 4 chunks away in the west. So glow squid spawning in one of those spawning tanks don't count against the mob cap for glow squid attempting to spawn in the other tank 4 chunks away from it. It essentially is going to give me double the rates. In practice, it's not really double, but it's going to give me far better rates by doing it that way. All right, so I've laid out this one chunk. Now I need to make another 16 by 16 square right next to this on one side, and then I think 2 more on the other side. I would point out that I'm building the entire thing using leaf blocks and bottom slabs. I want to avoid making an area where Enderman can spawn, if I can possibly avoid that. I'm doing this in survival mode, not creative mode, and the Enderman could kind of get in my way and be a problem for me. So if I can avoid giving them a place to spawn, that would be awesome. It won't affect the efficiency of the overall farm if there were places for Endermen to spawn, because they're a separate mob cap, it won't matter. But yeah, I just don't want to deal with them, you know? Completely filling in these squares isn't really necessary, but it does make it easy to have a nice platform to land on when flying with Elytra. Oh, it occurs to me that some of you might ask, hey, isn't there some add-on that you could get, some mod that will allow you to see chunk borders in Bedrock Edition so you don't have to do math? Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm not going to, but I'm sure you can get an add-on that does that if you don't like math. I totally get it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, okay. This spot right here would be where I want AFK. I'll have a tank there and a tank there. But I will be a little higher up. Something like this. Just want to get a good look at what I've mapped out. All right. Now, get started on the first tank. I'm working from the bottom up, so I'm going to have some hopper minecarts on rails to collect all the drops from the glow squid underneath the tank. So that's the first thing I need to build. I've created a platform 1 chunk wide and 4 chunks long. On one end of that platform, I'm finding the middle of the edge of the chunk and building up 3 blocks from there. That's where the hopper minecart rail line is going to go at Y level 8. That still gives me space underneath to work underneath the platform when I need to. That's just temporary blocks. The rail line is going to go here at Y8. So I'm going to go out in one direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then in the 9th space, I need a full block. I'm going to use obsidian because I just happen to get a lot of obsidian from mining down that pillar, but it just needs to be some full block. Then from there, an additional 13 blocks, 13 slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then an obsidian block, and then another slab. So the total tank is going to be 48 blocks this length, 13 blocks this way, and 7 blocks tall. I'm going to do half of this at a time, so a 24 by 13 area, and then put down the rails and then do the other half, hopefully avoiding getting too many Endermen showing up by doing that. From here, I'm going to go out an additional 12 blocks. So that's a total of 13 blocks wide. Then these full blocks here. The reason for these full blocks here, I'm going to put levers underneath and power these blocks, and that's where the powered rail is going to end up going. Okay. Put down railings. Powered rail around where these full blocks are. That's going to be powered. I knew that. Powered rail there. It's got to turn the corner here, and I can't turn the corner with powered rail. Put a slab on top of that so nothing spawns on it. Power that. So that powers this segment of rail, but I also need power in all those parts. So I'm going to have to bridge underneath, and I'll use some leaf blocks to do that. Actually, I might as well wait. Let's do the other side now. I can tell now that I misjudged how much powered rail I'm going to need. I thought it was 2 stacks of powered rail. It's more than that. It's a little more than 4 stacks of powered rail. Oopsie. So I'm going to have to move these stairs because the unloaders go over this way. Like that. Now I just run the rails this way. Now I just just realized I don't need to put a lever on this because I'm going to have a lever under that obsidian block. It'll power that whole line. So that one switch is redundant. Don't need it. See if I can get it back. Yeah, got back. Okay. Now I'm going to have to go underneath and power everything. Oops, went too far. This is a case where having a happy guest might be useful. But I can do this the old-fashioned way. Okay, I have to do this for each of those 4 strips of full blocks. Put a lever under each block and power it. That's why I used full blocks here and slabs for everything else, so it's easy to tell it apart from underneath. I also used a different type of block for the blocks that are getting powered, so I can tell from underneath or above, that's the blocks that's powered, that's the blocks that's going to be powered. I know where to place the powered rail, I know where to place the levers. Well, the powered rail should now be powered. I just need the collection system over here. So let's see, a chest here. Hopper pointing into that. Solid block. Rail. Powered rail. Comparator there. Block above that. Block there. Redstone torch there. Block on that. Now, when the hopper minecart gets up to here, the hopper's going to start unloading stuff. This comparator senses stuff is in this hopper, and it powers this block, unpowering this redstone torch, unpowering this block, unpowering that redstone on this block. So the powered rail turns off. And the powered rail will remain off, leaving the hopper minecart there until this hopper empties. Let's do the same thing on this side. Let's get a couple of hopper minecarts and test that out. There's one. The other. I'll get out the 9 1/4 stacks of magma blocks for the next part, which is to make the base floor of the farm. And I am wearing Frostwalker boots so that I can stand on this without an issue. Without Frostwalker boots, I just had to be crouched the whole time. I'm going to be crouched most of the time anyway, because I'm working over the void. Now, place a ring around the whole thing of glass. I'm not sure if it's actually critical to have the walls made of glass. I just like to be able to see inside. I'm going to start building up 4 blocks and then place some ice to make the water sources. When I made this design as an ink farm, I had light sources around the outside edges, and when I placed the ice, I could just let it melt. That's not going to work here. Go down into here. Oh, I didn't realize that. I knew that the magma blocks gave off some amount of light, but I didn't think it was going to be enough to melt the ice blocks. Apparently it is, at least that bottom level. Let's go ahead and break that. Oh, shoot. It keeps refrozing because I'm wearing Frostwalker boots. I gotta take those off. Well, I'm almost halfway. Alright. Now another 3 blocks up. I just realized something. It hasn't seemed to have been an issue yet, but I think mobs can spawn on ice. At least in Bedrock Edition they can. Maybe not on Java Edition. Yeah, I got Enderman to spawn on the ice. Well, that was a little bit of a mistake. Yep. That was a mistake. Okay, today I learned. Enderman can spawn on the ice, and now I have a bunch of Endermen. I have annoyed an Enderman. Yeah, well, I've answered that question. Enderman can spawn on ice, so I have to avoid that. Also, I think I've annoyed another one. Jerk. Alright, let's try to finish this without creating more spawning surfaces for Enderman to show up. The next part I'm genuinely not sure about. Can I just put slabs, bottom slabs, over the top of all this, and would it count as underground? Or do I need to put a full block and then a slab on top of that to spawn poopers from Enderman not showing up? I do not know. I guess we can test and see. Oh yeah, yeah. Glow squid have spawned. Okay, that saves me a lot of material and a lot of time if I can just use lower slabs here. And the squid will still count being underground. Yeah, I am seeing glow squid spawning. Fantastic. Alright, that is one tank complete. Get rid of this temporary stuff here. Already got a healthy amount of glow ink just while I was working in that area. There you go. You can see the glow squids spawn in. They spawn in groups of 2 to 4, I believe, in Bedrock Edition, and in groups of 4 to 6 in Java Edition. Again, this farm would not work in Java Edition simply because, well, for actually a number of reasons. Not the least of which is because I don't think glow squids spawn in the end dimension in Java Edition. But I think there's other reasons why also it wouldn't work in Java. Yeah, it's working great. Now, I'm just going to build another tank exactly like that over there. And I should get something approaching double the rates that I get from the farm as it stands now. Alright, I built the two sides, set up this little shelter for myself, and I have been AFK for an hour. Let's see what I got out of it. Wait a minute. Probably gonna need these containers. I might want to make a more sophisticated collection system at some point, but that's a healthy amount. So that much from one side. Let's check the other side. And pick up another shulker box. Okay, so from both sides, I've collected that much. That's a lot. That's pretty darn effective. That gives me ridiculous amounts of glow ink. As I said, a split density farm for glow ink might be massive overkill, but it was simple enough to make. As far as the materials required, now I tried to go over what was required at the start, but yeah, I only needed one shulker box full of glass, not two. I needed half as much ice as I thought I would need, half as much wood blocks as I thought I would need, and that's a bite right for my estimate of magma blocks. But anyway, I will try to come up with what is an actual accurate materials list and put it in the description. Overall, a pretty darn effective farm. If ever I need to farm glow ink again, I know the place to do it is in the end. It makes it so much easier. But I think I've done enough in the end for now. And next time, the copper drop is about to drop. Right? The next drop, the copper drop. And, oh, I have things I'm going to do with that. Next time on Amon Chooses Divergence SMP.